Action. Hello everyone, Outlaw 2747 back again. I figured I'd do something a little different. Check out my freaking army. Oh yeah. You don't want to mess with me, guys. Space Godzilla, front and center, come on. Yeah, these are my beasts. I told you guys in one of my earlier videos that I was a big Godzilla fan. And I'm trying my best to, you know, keep my collection going on. Here, let me take a seat so we can get a better view of the guys. Yeah, so this is it. These are all made from Bandai. I like all the figures are around the same height and everything. I usually keep them up there on my bookcase. Yeah, there's Inky and the Penguin chilling. So I just figured I'd, you know, share a little bit of one of my hobbies, which I hope to expand, especially once my business grows a bit more, which is going pretty good so far. But I want it to grow bigger, so my collection could go bigger. It's just one of the many things I'm doing. But check this out. For those of you who I'm not very familiar with Godzilla, allow me to give you a little tour. This beast right here, this is Gigan. First form Gigan from Godzilla Final Wars. Check out, he's got the whole metallic thing going on. He's a cyborg. No one knows what kind of critter he is. I don't know. They didn't really specify. He just looks like a giant metallic chicken. You know, he's got the awesome tail. The tail and the legs move, so do the arms. You know, he was in Godzilla Final Wars, which was the last Godzilla movie made. You know, he's got the shotgun laser eyes. He's got the buzzsaw on his chest. Sadly, in the movie, he got his head blown off. Oh yeah, he also got little hooks inside here. You can't really see them. Here, let me check it out. Yeah, these hooks here. You can shoot these out and capture the Godzilla. Talk about the two little hooks under the main one. Yeah, he used those to capture Godzilla. And over here is his ancestor, made from the 1960s and 70s. This is also Gigan. He was slated to have a laser shooting off his eye beam, but they never really followed through with that. But notice he looks less metallic. He's a little bit more organic. You know, still looks like a cybernetic chicken. Still got the buzzsaws. He's got the hooks, but none of the capturing hooks. Tail's a little bit shorter. I'm glad they kept the same sound bites from back in the 60s and put them in what was it, 2005, I think Godzilla Final Wars came out. Yep, this is good old Gigan, the coward of the group. Every time he gets his behind kicked, he hauls tail. He doesn't care if his buddy's getting beat up. And he's usually getting beat up by this Godzilla. This is old school Godzilla here. Oh no, I don't think this is the 1960s or 70s superhero version. I think this was the first Godzilla. Somebody bought this one for me, which was so nice of them. But yeah, you know, vanilla Godzilla when he first came out, when he was, you know, just a big force of nature. He wasn't the superhero Godzilla yet. Also got the moving arms and legs and stuff. And one of his arch enemies, Mechagodzilla. This was the first Mechagodzilla. Not like Mechagodzilla 2 from the 90s or Kyu from the Millennium series. But check this out. Now you really can't see most of his weapons because most of his weapons are projectiles. But he could, you know, shoot projectile beams out of his mouth, beams out of his eyes. He used to have a whole plethora of missiles in his fingers, even in his toes. Like this guy, like he propped his feet on a rock and they would shoot missiles at this guy here, King Caesar, which I'm about to get to in a second. Kind of like how these guys just lean to each other. This is King Caesar right here. This is Final Wars King Caesar, as far as I know. He was in the first Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla movie. He helped Godzilla defeat Mechagodzilla because Mechagodzilla is one tough hombre. And then he appeared again in Final Wars, teaming up with Rodan, who's standing right behind him, and Garrus was also standing right behind him. Oh wow, that was a coincidence. You know, put all three of these guys who teamed up against Godzilla in Godzilla Final Wars. But yeah, this guy, one of his special powers, well, first off, he's tenacious. You know, he's very tenacious. I mean, he would not give up. But he also had the ability to absorb beams and then shoot them out of his eyes. Yeah, King Caesar was awesome. We might as well go to Rodan now. Hey Rodan, this is Final Wars Rodan. You know, he looked a bit more humanoid here. You know, in the other movies, back in the 60s and 70s, and even in the 1990s, he was more, you know, pterodactyl-like. But here they kind of gave him a bit more human stance. I think they wanted to put an actual human in the suit. even though he was mostly CGI in that movie. He didn't really have too many powers in Final Wars, but in the other movies, he had a heat beam of his own. One of Godzilla's closest allies, but also one of his greatest enemies. Yeah, I tell you, these monsters, they tend to, you know, have this this bipolar thing going on. Here's Anguirus, the very first monster Godzilla ever fought. The very first movie, this guy got cooked by Godzilla. I mean, they had a good rumble and then he got cooked. But then, like, after that, apparently he either survived or there was another Anguirus, and they teamed up against the likes of this guy, you know, King Ghidorah, and this guy, Gigan. You know, so Anguirus is one of Godzilla's closest friends. He wasn't seen again after the 60s and 70s. He wasn't seen in the 1990s, but he came back for Final Wars. And he has this uncanny ability to curl into a ball and just bounce around and cause a lot of mayhem. But Anguirus is one of those brave monsters. You know, he gets his butt kicked. Very rarely runs away from a fight. He's got my respect. Who didn't we look at yet? Oh, Hedorah right here. I believe this one is the Final Wars version, because, well, let me see. Oh, yeah, this looks pretty cool. This might be the Final Wars version, because the Final Wars version was really darker color. I think this is the 60s, though the eyes looks a little bit different. But in any case, also one of Godzilla's greatest enemies. No moving parts, by the way, on this this figure. Made of completely made of sludge, possibly a space alien. This guy is generally impervious to normal attacks. I mean, he came really close to killing Godzilla. He's even got a laser eye, which is really weird. He transforms into several forms throughout the movie. Back in the 60s, he came back in Final Wars only to get his butt kicked in a few seconds. I kind of felt sorry for him. They could have chose, you know, another monster to get his butt kicked so easily. But Hedorah, you know, he was just a victim of the Stormtrooper effect. Here is 1990s Godzilla. This guy was just a force of nature. You know, he was neither good nor bad, but he was the monster you rooted for. Just because, well, he was Godzilla. I mean, they made his beam ridiculously strong in that movie. You know, he was just blasting everything. And it's funny, he's standing next to his greatest opponent right here, and there's another one of his greatest opponents right here, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, this Godzilla, you know, you didn't want to mess with him. I mean, he took on Rodan, he took on King Ghidorah, Biollante, Destroyer. Here, speaking of King Ghidorah, this looks like the 90s King Ghidorah, judging by his face. He's got a little bit of dust on him. He's been sitting on top of my counter. But yeah, his neck doesn't really move. His wings move and his legs move. This dude here, oh man, you didn't want to mess with King Ghidorah. This guy, you know, it usually takes another monster with Godzilla to beat him. It takes some sort of intervention to beat this guy. I mean, he shoots lightning from his mouth from all three of his heads. There's been rare cases where he was able to combine the lightning into one, you know, deadly beam. In the 60s and 70s, I mean, he was a terror to be reckoned with. In the 1990s, he was beat a bit easier, and in the Millennium series, he was a good guy, which was weird. He was a good guy in the Millennium series. They took him out. Godzilla had to beat this guy 3 times though, so give him that prop. And he even has several cousins. He has Death Ghidorah, which I hope to find also, and Kaiser Ghidorah from Final Wars, who is a complete beast and very hard to find. Almost done, guys. Right here, this is Rainbow Mothra. Actually, this form of Mothra was not seen in the Godzilla series. This was in Mothra's standalone movie. It's funny because, like, the original Mothra died in that series, and this is her son. This is Mothra Leo, and he could transform into different phases in order to defeat his opponents. This was in the second Mothra movie that was made, where he was fighting Dagara. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I actually never heard that name pronounced. Dagara. I believe it was Dagara, which was like an oceanic lizard. Really destructive, polluting the entire Earth, and Rainbow Mothra was just there to save the day. And last but not least, we cannot forget Godzilla's evil twin from outer space, Space Godzilla. You know, people are still debating how Space Godzilla actually got created. Some people say that when Godzilla fought Mothra, this was in the 1990s movies, the Heisei series. When Mothra fought Godzilla, she went into outer space. His cells got caught up in, what was it, a white hole or something, and they mixed with a bunch of crystalline organisms, and boom, there you go. Some people think that the same thing happened with Biollante. Biollante was part Godzilla also, went into outer space, and then boom, this came. And if you notice, Look on the side, on his cheeks, he's got those extra teeth. Biollante had the same thing. I don't know, slight crystals. We got these huge crystals over here, enables him to create, you know, the siphon energy through him. Use a Corona beam similar to Godzilla's breath beam. Of course, he's got this tail which he used to kick Mogira's butt, which I hope to find a Mogira figure soon. That'd be really awesome. Well, yeah, Space Godzilla, one of the greatest opponents Godzilla ever had. And that's it, guys. That's all my series. That's my army. Hopefully, I can get some more and show them off. If you guys want me to do anything else with these figures, you know, do Godzilla movie reviews or anything like that, I will be happy to do so. I'm a Godzilla nut. I love this stuff. I'm doing this video by ear, so I'm sorry if I don't remember everything, but I really, really wanted to show you guys this stuff. I love Godzilla. Love him, love him, love him. I hope I can find a girlfriend that loves Godzilla as much as I do. But in any case, guys, in case you haven't noticed, I've been playing a lot of Final Wars and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla in the background. But in any case, this is Outlaw 2747. Sign it, Frigov. Behold.